you should see now the score. If you can see the score, nod your head. Wonderful. Okay, so what I'd like to do first is just take a little while and go through the score itself and just mark some critical things. There will be people in this meeting that that are looking at the score for the first time, and that's why we're meeting earlier in the month. So maybe you've already looked at it and you've already found all these things, but if that's true, you can just sit there and beam with your superiority, and we can look at you and look at you beaming with the light of your superiority. But while we go through all that, we'll just make the marks in the score as needed. And if you could take those marks down, cool. If you don't have your score yet, as I said earlier, as people come onto the meeting, if you don't have your score, I will send out a copy of this score so that we can have unified notes and therefore sing together in our individual recordings and make a beautiful recording together, which y'all already do. So there's no big deal, but this will help, I think. So the first thing you'll see in this score is this solo indication here. The first little soprano entrance is a solo. And the reason why I made it a solo was so that you could have a little lead in, since this is an a cappella piece. There's no piano introduction to listen to. So the first, that won't be anyone in the choir, that'll be a guest soloist, and it's a surprise. So there's the first little solo there. Here in measure 4/5/6, we have, hold on one second, we have the entrance of everyone. So I would definitely circle that. Altos in the room. Let me see. We have Barbara. We have others. This little entrance here, does this kind of freak you out a little bit? Have you listened to it on the recording? You know, why don't we do that first? We can listen to the piece and we can follow through the score here. I'll scroll through it as we listen to it, or you can look through your score, and that way when we can get to the end, you maybe will have a few more questions. Let's try that.
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, mother, let's go down, come on down. Oh, mother, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, Father, let's go down, come on down. Oh, Father, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brother, let's go down, come on down. Oh, brother, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sister, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sister, let's go down in the river to pray. Down in the river to pray. Down in the river to pray.
Good deal. Good deal. All right. So important to mark this entrance of everyone here. Sopranos, obviously here. Altos here. Take a look over here and you can find your line. Some of us like to highlight these letters over here to make sure our eyes are going to the correct line. That's always a good idea. Important here is this is a tenor and bass entrance. This is not a soprano and alto entrance anymore. So tenors and basses, make sure that by the time you hear this coming, here in the sopranos and altos, you're already counting and keeping track of time so that you can come in at the right moment here. Do notice also the dynamic markings. Some of these dynamic markings are what they are because of the nature of recording on our phones and on our computers. You know, you can't sing fortissimo and operatically into a computer microphone. It's not going to work. It's just going to be distorted and not fun. So and not sound good. So guys, you come in here, make it nice and round. The sound needs to be always warm and round, and always with careful ears for intonation. Here, everyone enters. So sopranos and altos, make sure here at the "Oh Father, Let's Go Down" that you're already marking time so that you can feel and breathe together to come in together at measure 19. This is all together. This is all together. Measure 28, this is again a solo. Just like the beginning. Then at measure 33, we all come in. So you may want to mark that this is no longer a solo. Measure 33 is we all come in. And then we sing together all the way to the end. Carefully take note of these dynamic markings that we're getting softer and softer and softer. I almost didn't even write that in there because I can do that with mixing magic once you send in your recordings. But that's we're all musical enough to do dynamics, even if we're at home alone. So you may have noticed on the recording you just heard that was me singing all that stuff, even the soprano part. And part of the reason why I did that was I wanted you all to be comfortable with the idea of things sounding weird, because I think, you know, some of us can be intimidated by the sounds we hear. And what I wanted for you all was for you not to worry about the sound you're making in terms of you being alone, because there's a lot of things about the recording that I can fix. And I actually never really hear you all individually. I put you in one at a time over top of what we already recorded in the demo. So you're always joining a choir that's already existing, you know what I mean? And then after we get you all into the mix, we take the demo tracks away. And then we can hear the sound of the choir. So you don't ever have to be afraid that I'm listening to all your recordings and judging you or whatever. I would never do that. And I don't want to do that, you know, because if I sent you an iPhone recording of myself singing, it's not going to be the best either. Especially in a thing like this. This is probably a little harder than the past virtual choirs because there's no piano accompaniment to latch onto. So you know, do your very, very best. And the better you mark your score up, I think the better time you'll have. So let's go back to the score for a second here and look through this a little harder. So sopranos and everyone else, if you listen to the melody here that the soprano sings at the very beginning, you basically know the whole piece. And even though your notes are different later, the rhythms are very much the same. Altos, your entrance here is not so bad. This is kind of classic church harmony here. Then, important to notice here at measure 10, tenors and basses, you're all in unison on the melody here. And then tenors, I know this will be a difficult thing for you to grasp, but you do not have the melody at measure 15. The basses have the melody, you have harmony. So I know that'll take a little time for y'all to adjust to that fact, but you can do it. I believe in you. Actually, tenors, I really like this harmony that you have here. It's sort of one of those old shape note, Sacred Harp tune type tenor lines where it just dances above the melody there. Basses and baritones do know that you have the melody, so you can sing that with a little bit more strength there. Then here at measure 19, important to note, basses, tenors, and altos, is that you don't have the melody here. The sopranos have the melody. And they're actually in their lower register, which for some of us means that we're going to put out a little less sound there. So make sure that the sound is not so much quieter as it is just conscious of the fact that you don't have the melody. That'll let the sound of the sopranos sing out above the texture a little bit. Basses, these low notes are sort of critical. These low B flats and these low Fs that are written here. If you don't have them, notice that the tenor note is actually the F above. So if you got to take these up an octave, you'll just be joining the tenors. But if you have these low Fs and low B flats, you can emphasize those a little bit because they're important for the harmony. Here at measure 24, the alto part does this funky thing here where we jump off of our harmony altos at measure 25 and we jump up to the melody here. So in like measure 26, I would just write here that you are singing the melody so that your ear knows to pop up with the sopranos and double the melody with them. It's just a specific little texture change here that's very similar to what we would do in sacred harp singing. Then the solo returns here, like we said, and then everyone should mark in measure 33 that this is a tutti forte entrance. So everyone is back in here at 33, singing forte. Again, with an ear to the fact that the sopranos have the melody and we don't, altos, tenors, and basses. I know you're all used to that, but make sure you're listening for the melody in your ears. Altos, hear it in measure 35. We have another moment where we're jumping up to the soprano part and singing the melody. Tenors, we're really just singing the same thing over and over, basses over and over, just like a hymn. These are just verses to a hymn. Measure 36, we're all going to decrescendo beautifully. I don't see anything too funky here. Basses, you can sneak a breath here because I know you're going to want one. Down in the river to pray. Take one in between ver and to in order to have enough breath to sing this low F with some nice strength. Still pianissimo, but remember that piano and pianissimo just means soft, as in velvet or fabric, like a soft feeling. Pianissimo means very soft feeling like that, and forte just means strong. None of this means loud or soft. So take that into account. You're just expressing the words, not so worried about dynamics in terms of volume. Okay, who all has had a chance to sing through this? Okay, most of us. So I'm going to leave the score up here because I know some of us don't have it, and I will scroll through it. I'm going to play the recording again. This time, I want us all to try to sing through it. Okay, I don't care if you sing the wrong notes or whatever. What I'm looking at is vowel shapes. So make sure I can see your mouth and your face, and I will be paying attention mostly to what I see in terms of vowel shape. Okay, so here we go. When you're ready, smile at me. Terrific, here we go.
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, mother, let's go down, come on down. Oh, mother, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, Father, let's go down, come on down. Oh, Father, let's go down in the river to pray.
Okay, just what I just saw and what I heard. Here's a couple notes. So when we get to right here, measure 5, sopranos and altos, you want to make sure that you're reading and counting along with this in time so that you can breathe on beat 4 in time. So who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way, breathe. Oh, that way your mouth is already open in time and that there's no distortion to this little entrance here on O. O is a very dangerous word. I mean, the second we see the word O, we're all going O for some reason, like, oh my gosh. It's O, like A-W, with a big old hollow sound of oh mother. And whenever you see in any music the word oh, or the word hark, or the word any of those kind of like emotive words, you want to wonder what that means and give it some meaning, because we tend to just sing at these sounds. But you know, when you say "oh mother," oh, there's a lot of stuff in "oh." You got to decide what that "oh" is for you. Come on down, come on, oh mother, come on instead of come on. And mother, mother, ma, M-A-W. A-W is your friend when you're singing this more traditional music here. Guys, the same thing I told the sopranos and altos, you want to make sure you're counting along with this: down in the river to pray, breathe, as I went down, so that you're ready here. Otherwise, it'll just be a guess, and you don't want to guess. I very much sung it in time. So make sure you're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and breathe, as I went down, and then you'll be golden. Altos of the low voice persuasion, if you want to join the tenors when they break off into harmony here in 15, feel free. Some of you love that, and you can, and so go ahead. But make sure you sing with a light production, just so that you can blend with the sound of the tenors, whose voices are high, light, and bright and beautiful. Okay, so we made it here to this little tutti entrance. We'll keep going right where we left off.
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brother, let's go down, come on down. Oh, brother, let's go down in the river to pray.
Okay, notice here as we come in together, when you have an accompanimental line, I'm looking particularly here at altos, I can hear you in the choir room, I can hear exactly what you would do. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and you would overemphasize these repeated notes on good old way. Make sure you de-emphasize those repeated notes when you have a harmonic line like this. Sopranos, when you sing these repeated notes here, down in the river to pray, this is actually the melody. So don't de-emphasize them, but also don't hammer them on either. But when you have these repeated notes here, tenors, and here basses, when you're singing a lot of stuff back to back like that, make sure that you de-emphasize them in order to inflect the text. So you may actually want to go through this a little bit and just say the text in rhythm. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Let's talk about breaths right here for a second too. As I went down in the river to pray, you're obviously going to breathe there on that rest. Studying about that good old way, no breath. And who shall wear? Little catch breath there on that 16th note. The starry crown, good Lord. Little catch breath there if you need it. Show me the way, and obviously breathe on that rest. Here that is again. As I went down in the river to pray, breathe here on this 8th rest. Studying about that good old way, no breath after way before and. Who shall wear? Then breathe there on that 16th note rest. The starry crown, good Lord, no breath. Or did I say a breath? If you need it. If you need a breath there, Lord, show me the way. Then after O on these little responses, oh brother, oh sister, oh father, oh mother. No breath after the word O. There's a comma there in the original text, so I put it in there to be faithful to that text. But and usually we're used to breathing on commas, but here, don't breathe on that comma there. Oh, brother, let's go down. You can take a little breath there if you need it. Let's go down, come on down. No breath after down either. You have a second here after that last down before the next O to breathe. Everyone okay? All right, you're all working hard. Oh, brother, let's go down. Again, no breath after O. Down in the river to pray. When we get to the end of this phrase here, I know you'll do it anyway because you're used to doing this, but when you get to the ends of these phrases, you want to taper them down a little bit so that We can tell it's the end of a phrase, the end of a sentence. The soloist sings again. When we get here, make sure you're counting so that you can come in here. Let's see if you can do it.
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sister, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sister, let's go down, down in the river to pray, down in the river to pray, down in the river to pray.
Lauren Struckmeyer, if you keep laughing at my falsetto, I'm going to listen to your recording when you send it in. I know you're laughing at my falsetto. I can see you. Now you can see me. I'm serious. No, you can laugh at my falsetto.
It's beautiful,
Anyone have
Josh.
any? No, it isn't. But okay, thank you very much. Who has any questions or concerns about what you've seen so far? I know you have them.
Josh,
Yes.
the notation in measure 37 is mezzo forte.
37 is, yes.
I don't
So
think
we're starting up here at forte, and we're getting softer. So we go from forte, softer down to mezzo forte, softer down to piano, softer down to pianissimo. What other thoughts do you have, anyone?
Is there any breath between the like 26 and 27 or 33 and 34?
Yeah, if you need a breath after the word down where the period is, you can take a breath there. But this piece is written, the arrangement, knowing that someone's going to hang over. So you can take these breaths where you need them. And then if there's anything egregious, I can fix it later.
Josh, is this originally a shape note song, or does it come out of the Sacred Heart tradition?
I think it was written more recently in terms of that it wasn't written in the 17 and 1800s like the shape note music was, but it's certainly written in that tradition, certainly written with an awareness of that style and the sort of the Americana thing. It's been sung for a long time. It's in a lot of old hymnals. And in fact, in saying that, I always get questions when we sing this piece about why is it down in the river and not down to the river? Well, because it's a hymn, they're saying down in the river because it's about baptism. So if you're talking about being baptized in water, right? Talking about being made new and inviting people to go with you to find peace. And so that's what the piece is about. That's why I would say down in the river to pray.
The interesting thing about this to me is that Sacred Harp or Shape Notes comes out of a Pentecostal tradition where the Spirit comes down and makes you do things and sing in certain ways, but you're possessed. And the ultimate control of this is the opposite of being possessed and expressive.
Well, I wouldn't agree that the tradition of shape note singing is necessarily Pentecostal. I would say that it has a lot of that Anabaptist influence of the early American colonists, but there's a lot of Puritan influence in the shape note tradition too, in that they carried these things with them and they used certain things out of them. The Sacred Heart books that we have now are compilations of those things. So hymns came from an assortment of traditions, just like our hymnals do now. I mean, we have, especially your hymnal, where there's a lot of material from lots of different traditions in there. But even in the Lutheran hymnal, you'll find Amazing Grace and Lift Every Voice and Sing and things like that are certainly not German or particularly Lutheran, but they're important. And so they find their way into these hymnals. So a lot of these songs found their ways in there for that purpose and for that reason. This piece, I don't. I mean, it's obviously referring to baptism and that it's in water and that you're praying in the water, but I don't find it particularly theological. It's kind of just beautiful. It feels good, which is what I think they would have used it for. I mean, it's obviously one of those. Have any of you been to a Taizé service? They're kind of getting to be more and more popular in lots of denominations of Christian churches and in non-Christian churches, even in non-Christian congregations. There are these services where instead of singing hymns, you sing these long, improvised, repetitious melodies and different harmonies and everything. And this song kind of strikes me as that. And in fact, if you've all heard it in "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," I'm sure that's exactly how it's being used. They're singing while this is happening. It's music accompanying an event, which is they're all lining up to be baptized in the movie. But I don't really find it too theological myself. It's just like one of those things, just makes everyone feel good and together, which is why I chose it for this month for this purpose, because we want to feel together as much as we can. All righty then. Any other questions? Any other thoughts about it? How does it make you feel? What do you like about it?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
This is Carol, and I was wondering if it's okay to sway a little bit to this song, because I feel like swaying, but I can restrain myself if I'm not supposed to.
Carol, if you are possessed by the Spirit to sway, as Jay says, then you go ahead and sway.
Thank you.
Hannah and I are working on right now a video in order to demonstrate kind of how to take the actual video recording of yourself singing, which I think would be helpful. I'm not going to be as stringent as the Eric Whitaker virtual choir was, but you know, we all kind of want to wear the same colors and stuff like that to seem unified. But in terms of swaying and feeling the music, by golly, I really don't mind if you do whatever your heart desires. Just be happy while you do it.
As long as the camera moves with you.
What was
You care
that?
about the background?
I think these being at-home choirs, I kind of enjoyed in the previous virtual choirs seeing all of us at home. You know, it kind of like it bears some it confesses silently that we're at home and we're not in the choir room together, and we're doing this because we really just want to do it and want to be together as much as we can, as however we can. So it is a testament to the reality of the situation, which I kind of enjoy, and it doesn't hit it quite on the nose. So yeah, we'd like to see your home. Showcase your living room or your palatial bathroom or whatever you want to showcase. Or your garden. I don't know. That sounds nice. If you have a garden.
Could I share
Lauren
something?
Terry, you're laughing and I want to know what you're saying.
Well, first of all, Austin from the kitchen says, she's not a Terry. I'm still a Terry, just also a Struckmeyer. Anywho, I wasn't. I thought that was funny, so I laughed with you, not at you.
Okay, I believe you this time. Thank you very much. You know, I still call Hannah Huff occasionally, depending on why I'm calling her Hannah Huff.
When she's
That would make sense to reprimand me as a Terry, then. That makes sense.
If she's acting like a Huff, I'll say Hannah Huff, even though she's certainly a Mazer now. I'm sorry, Kim, I think Dr. Kim, I think I interrupted you. What were you saying?
Oh, no, that was fine. This doesn't have to do so much with our performance, but this song, when I saw you put that this is what we were going to do about it was around the time that the movie came out, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And I had a kid come in from foster care who had a really awful abuse history, and they kind of brought her to my office. Anyway, long story short, she wouldn't say anything. She wouldn't speak at all. And so I was trying everything I knew, and all of a sudden, under her breath, she started humming this song. And luckily, I had just seen the movie. So we were sitting at this table, and she was staring down at the table with her hands over her head, and she was humming this song, walking. So I started humming it with her, and then we started singing. All of a sudden, she gets up and starts doing this full performance of this piece. And from then on, then we established rapport, and then we were able to get some business done and some stuff done. But when I saw this song, I thought, this is a song that, like, you know, really helped a little kid be able to feel safe. So I just thought I'd share that.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing.
Yeah, so when I saw this, I was like, I had never heard this song before the movie. And so then all of that happened when I saw you chose it. I thought, oh my gosh, this is really a nice memory for this song.
Oh yes, that's a great memory.
Yeah.
And Joshua,
Thank you for letting us share that memory. Yes, ma'am, Barbara.
one of the things we have in West Virginia is called a cemetery day. It's twice a year. And the whole family's in that cemetery, you know, go up and they clean it up, and we have big feasts and all. And one of the things that after we clean up everything and we go down to the grave sites as we sing this song as we're going down to the grave sites.
Oh, that's a whole different take on it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing. That's a whole different thing. We never sang this in church while I was growing up, but my kids in Bradford County at Bradford High School, this was the first song I taught them because it's repetitive and you can sing it in unison or you can sing it in parts and everything. And you know, going back to what Kim was saying, you know, everyone seems to have that same reaction to it. You know, for instance, you know, I even though it's not a Lutheran hymn by any stretch of the imagination, the Lutherans even like to sing this because everyone feels comforted by it, which is why some of these hymns were written. Were just hymns of comfort. Peace and comfort is maybe even a section you might find in your hymnal wherever you attend. And it's certain things are worth singing even if they're not particularly theological because they bring us comfort. And as the Bluegrass Mass says, you know, glory be to God on high, who leaves us to our work and care and gives us only few commands, but that we love each other, pain and suffering ease. You know, that's kind of like my whole mantra in life. And this is what this hymn does. It's just like, hey, we're together for this fleeting moment, and that fleeting moment is precious, and let's have it together.